I mean, you're looking at a guy, only plays, saying that Battlefield King Bomb is just okay. He doesn't like the game. He thought it was just like a baby game. I think a lot of people disliked that video too, when they did Battlefield King Bomb on only plays.
Rehydrated?
Yeah, they did rehydrate it on only plays, and a lot of people
Yeah,
disliked
I
the
was
video.
gonna watch that, but I decided not to.
Yeah, all they do is just make fun of the game, seeing how bad it is.
Yeah, that sounds like it sucks.
Especially Zach. Zach, like, really hates the game.
Man, does he just think it's, like, overrated or something?
Yeah, he thinks it's overrated. He thinks that kids, like, so overhyped about this game because it's just okay. It's, like, a very bland 5 out of 10, like, 4 out of 10 game. But because it's SpongeBob, kids, like, say, like, it's amazing.
So he just has really high expectations for the game.
I guess. He never played the game.
I mean, then again, it's probably something like me. There are a lot of games that, I don't necessarily hate, but I get annoyed that they're so popular, so...
Like what?
Like The Last of Us.
I mean, that is a bad game, though.
Wait, it is? I thought people love it.
No, people love it for the story, but the gameplay is bad. Last of Us was one of the video games that just inspired me to just rate games by separate genres, because that game is good in a story sense, but gameplay-wise, that game is bad. It's not a very good game. What if I told you that Torque from Tarzan was streaming this game the entire time, and he's very close to beating the game?
He's like a master player.
Yeah.
He's accidentally playing the game at 2 times speed, but he doesn't realize it.
He's using all the cheats like he did in the Mega Man 3 stream.
Yeah. He used rewind. For a second, I was gonna say that disqualifies you, but I'm like, no, you were still way far ahead of me. Like, the rewind did not help you, or did not,
Not only that, but I didn't actually use the rewind to help me. I used the rewind to figure out where to go next, because I didn't know... Because, I never played the game before, so I wanted to scout ahead to see where I am. And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get a game over now, bye-bye, and I'd killed myself at the final boss. So yeah, I used rewind, but I used rewind because I was on the game over already. I only had one up left, so I said might as well check out the what's up ahead in this level, see how bad it is, and then go back and die. So I wouldn't say that's cheating because I didn't make any progress. I went back and get game over and had to do it again. I mean, Torque did that. The Torque.
I mean, yeah, Turk did that.
The Torque from Tarzan, not Torque from Tarzan World from the in the middle of the desert, that theme park.
What is this theme park in the middle of the desert that you're referring to?
We made a joke about it in Tarzan for the PS1. You said Tarzan World instead of saying Disney World, so we said okay. There's a theme park in the middle of the desert called Tarzan World. It's like a bootleg Tarzan theme park. And I said it was in the middle of the desert because you ever been to south of the border? You ever been to the theme park named south of the border? It's like
I've never been to any theme park actually.
Why? Okay, so there's a theme park that is south of the border of North Carolina. So it's like in the middle of North Carolina and South Carolina. It's called south of the border, and it's like a parody of Mexican culture. So I'm saying it's like a bootleg, a theme park like that is pointless and no one ever heard of.
Yeah, I've never been to a theme park because money. Just, my parents were like, it's too much money to go to a theme park. So I'm like, all right.
Not even like Six Flags. That's like $50. Well, back then.
There's no Six Flags near us. We'd have to drive like a good amount of ways.
Okay. Well, Six Flags back in the day was like $50. So.
The closest thing I've gone to a theme park is I've gone to
Tarzan World.
A place that's near us called Branson in Oklahoma. And it's like sort of a theme park.
It's like
there's a theme park.
There's
like a theme park right next to it called Silver Dollar City. But I didn't go there. I just went to Branson itself. So I got to see the theme park, but I didn't enter the theme park.
Yeah. Well, you can't go to Disney World now. It's like $250 a person now.
Yeah, I mentioned that I wanted to go to Super Nintendo World when that releases in California, and my parents, when I mentioned California, they're like, "We're never going to California." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Why?
I guess they just have like a bias against California.
Like Canada. They're too good.
I want to go to Canada.
They're too nice though. You can't go to Canada.
Actually, there's a couple of places I want. I mean, first off, obviously, is like Tokyo. I want to go to Tokyo.
I beat the boss. I move
But I
on to
don't want to
next.
spend like a couple of days. I want to spend like an entire month, and like rent out an apartment and just live there, and just like see what the average life is.
The average life expectancy.
Actually, yeah, that's a weird. Like, I don't know if anybody else does this, but like, I don't necessarily want to see the sights of Tokyo and then leave. I just want to like live like a month there, and just kind of see like, okay, like how do, you know, people in Japan live like in at least Tokyo, and then I also want to like go to like some of the more smaller locations, not a city location, and just kind of see how they live.
I mean, Tokyo is like no different than New York. You know, it's a city.
But I mean, there's different stuff about it.
I mean, there's
I guess
bizarre stuff like, you know...
in general, I'd want to go to. Just to kind of like... Because, like, the way that, you know, Japan is so much different than, like, you know, the US.
Yeah, they have, like,
something.
off-brand stuff, like, you know, vending machines that have soup in them. So, yeah, you want to go to a soup vending machine?
No, I just want to see how people live in Japan.
You just want to get, like, a pair of binoculars and just spy on people living life.
I'll get the peep and creep, and I'll just walk around with it.
You would dress yourself up like a Freddy Fecal and start watching people from a distance.
You know what the peep and creep is?
What?
It's H3H3 like years ago made a joke video about it's like a VR headset looking thing, but it just has binoculars on it so you can look at people.
Oh, nice.
And it's supposed to be that you can just walk around and look at people.
Nah.
But they don't know you're looking at them.
But now, when you go to Japan, you should dress up like Freddy Fecal and start watching people from a distance. Just stand there in a distance with your arms stretched out with Freddy Fecal.
I want to be as polite as possible.
Why?
Because I watched Jake Paul's video and I felt sad. Or is it Logan Paul? It's Logan Paul.
Yeah.
I genuinely felt sad about that. I'm like, oh my god, the people that live there, I'm so sorry they had to deal with that for a day.
Yeah.
I know this is like 4-year-old news, but, you know, that's how I felt about it.
I have a funny story about Japanese tourists. I went to Florida one time, and a bunch of Japanese tourists were like walking in the park with us, because there was like a van with, you know, Japanese tourists van. And in the park, there was a crocodile, I mean not crocodile, alligator, minding his own business in the lake or in the pond, and all the Japanese tourists were like, oh look, alligator, and then they all started taking pictures of the alligator, and then one of them felt like brave enough to like try to touch the alligator, and they got his arm bitten off, and I gotta watch that.
Funny story about this guy getting his arm bitten off.
Well, he's like, oh, alligator, I want to touch him. And they're like, oh, pain!
Like, started up the story and then...
Well, it's funny because he's like so happy to touch the alligator, and then the alligator bites his arm off, and he's like, oh, oh.
I did not expect the ending to be like...
Well, I mentioned alligator, and mentioned, you know, Japanese tourists wanting to take a picture of it. So, what do you expect? But, hey, happy ending. He became Cyborg in the next Disney Social Planet live-action remake.
Oh, yay. It's going in a bold direction. It's going to be an all-Asian cast.
Yeah. Well, they were planning on making a Disney Plus Social Planet TV series on Disney Plus, not a movie. Wouldn't that be something?
Mm.
You get to hear about the expanded lore about Jim Hawkins and the planets and Social Planet.
Huh.
As in, they just make up stuff that's not even canon from the original movie and retcon a bunch of stuff. So you having fun?
Yeah, sort of. I've never played this game for this long of time before. I normally do like 30-minute sessions.
Yeah. Maybe we should speedrun the other Bionicles game next.
Oh, the terrible GameCube Bionicle game?
That one?
There's just one called Bionicles, and it's really terrible.
Oh, yeah. I can't imagine it being...
I used to have that on PS2, and I was like...
I can't imagine it being any worse than this game.
It's worse. Yeah, it's worse. It's...
I mean, if you're saying it's bad, it must be bad.
It's a lot worse.
If you're saying it's bad, it must be bad.
From what I remember, it was a lot worse, and I had the PS2 version.
Yeah. We still never play Atlantis for the PS1.
I mean, we got to do that at some
We
point.
keep promising that game, like back in Lilo and Stitch, the PS1 stream.
There's a lot of games we keep promising we never deliver on.
We have that. We have Dead at Fred. We once had that Evil Dead game, but now we finally streamed it.
Funny Man Fred.
That's a good game.
Yeah,
we have
that's
to
the
play
counterpart to Deadhead Fred.
the funny man.
Funny Man Fred. Fred the movie, the game.
Oh, normal head Fred. He's a normal man with a head.